Hello and welcome to Busy Kids Love Music, the podcast that helps you discover the music of composers, cultures, and traditions from all around the world. I'm Carly Seifert, the creator of Busy Kids Do Piano, and I'm so glad you're joining me today. This is our third and final episode in our series on the composer Igor Stravinsky. In our last episode, we explored The Firebird, a magical ballet full of shimmering music and fairy tale characters. But today, we're stepping into something very different. We're learning about a piece of music that was so shocking, so surprising, and so unusual that it caused one of the most famous moments in music history. This piece is called The Rite of Spring. The Rite of Spring is a ballet, which means it was written for dancers. But instead of telling a fairy tale or a story about a prince and a princess, this ballet tells a story from long, long ago inspired by ancient traditions. The story is about people celebrating the arrival of spring after a long winter. In the ballet, the dancers represent a community that believes the earth wakes up in spring, and they want to make sure the new growing season is strong and healthy. So they dance and stomp and jump and move in wild, powerful ways to show how exciting and important spring is. Stravinsky wanted his music to sound like nature itself, like thunder, like pounding feet, like the ground shaking as new life bursts out of the earth. Now, here's where things gets interesting. When The Rite of Spring was written in 1913, most people were used to ballet music that sounded graceful, smooth, and pretty. But Stravinsky did something totally different. His music used very loud, powerful rhythms, sharp, surprising sounds, clashing notes that didn't always sound nice, and beats that didn't always feel easy to dance to. Instead of floating gently, the music often feels like it's stomping, pounding, and pushing forward. He also depicted different cultures that challenge Western ideas. Some parts were so intense that they sound almost like the orchestra is arguing with itself. To Stravinsky, this was exciting. To the audience, it was shocking. When The Rite of Spring was first performed in Paris, people came expecting something elegant and beautiful, like a typical ballet. In 1913, most people in Paris loved art and music that felt fancy, polite, and refined. Ballet dancers usually looked light and graceful, and the stories were often about kings, queens, and fairy tale heroes. But what they saw and heard was very different. Stravinsky and the choreographer wanted to show something much more ancient and earthy. The dancers bent their knees, stomped their feet, and moved in heavy, powerful ways, and the music sounded raw and wild. Two worlds were meeting, one that loved elegant tradition and one that wanted bold, modern ideas. That clash made some people feel uncomfortable, but it also started a whole new way of thinking about music and dance. At first, people were confused. Then they started whispering. Then some people laughed. Then others got upset. Soon voices were shouting. Some people tried to clap, others tried to boo. People were arguing so loudly that the dancers could hardly hear the music. It wasn't dangerous, but it was very noisy and chaotic, like when a big crowd can't agree on whether something is amazing or awful. This moment became famous as the Rite of Spring riot. Imagine a concert so surprising that people couldn't stop reacting. At first, many people said that wasn't music, that was too strange. But over time, musicians began to realize something important. Stravinsky had created something new. He had changed how music could sound. He had shown that music could be bold, powerful, and wild. Today, the Rite of Spring is considered one of the most important pieces of music ever written. It's performed all over the world and studied by composers, conductors, and students. What once shocked people is now celebrated. I'm including a link for you to listen to the Rite of Spring in its entirety in the show notes. And when you listen to the Rite of Spring, don't try to hear it as pretty or gentle music. Instead, imagine animals running, thunder crashing, the ground shaking, and people dancing with all their strength. Listen for loud drums, blasting horns, fast, exciting rhythms. It's music that feels alive. Igor Stravinsky wasn't afraid to be different. He wasn't afraid to surprise people, and because of that, he helped change the future of music. From the magical world of the Firebird to the wild energy of the Rite of Spring, Stravinsky showed us that music can tell stories in many different ways. Thank you for joining me for this 3-part journey through the music of Igor Stravinsky. I hope you'll keep listening, exploring, and discovering new sounds with me here on Busy Kids Love Music. Join me again in 2 weeks for another brand new episode. Bye for now.